Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and Happy New Year to all of you. And thank you for joining us today for our first Power Up Little Rock of 2023. My name is Rajesh Shokhani, and I have the honor of serving as this year's chairman of the board for the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce. With a show of hand, please tell me how many of you in the audience believe that health and wellness is one of the most popular resolution people choose for the new year. Yep. The importance of the health and wellness has an even bigger tie to our quality of place and is a key part of the Little Rock region, not just in organizational structure, but in our day-to-day activities. Our community is blessed with the tremendous quality of life assets that we know play a key role in our everyday lives. And many of our corporate organizations and smaller businesses are capitalizing on these unique qualities that Little Rock and the region have to offer. Today, you are going to hear from four local businesses that are playing a part in transforming health and wellness into the workforce. They will explore all aspects of corporate wellness programs, from how to start one and how to make it award-winning. We will have time for question and answer at the end of the program, so start thinking of your questions now. Before we get started, I would like to thank our key Power Up partners, Delta Dental of Arkansas, our series partner sponsor, and our Power Up series presenting sponsor, Arvest Bank. The success of this event would not be possible without the significant support of these organizations. Last but not least, thank you so much to Stacey Wilson and the entire chamber team under leadership of Jay Cheshire to kind of organize such events and bring this awareness into our community. So thank you so much, team. Please join me in thanking and welcoming Ron Witherspoon, President and CEO of Arvest Bank, Central Arkansas.
Thank you, Rajesh. And just a quick opportunity to recognize Rajesh as our new chairman for the chamber. This morning he hosted his first chamber board meeting, and I guess this is officially your first event in that role too, Rajesh. So again, congratulations. As Rajesh said, I'm Ron Witherspoon. I'm our new president and CEO for Arvest Bank here in Central Arkansas. Not necessarily asking for a show of hands, but I imagine most everyone in this room, potentially all of you, know Jim Cargill, and I have the honor as being his successor. You can obviously tell I'm not near as good looking as Jim, but I'm much funnier, so hopefully that will make up for it. Like the other sponsors that you see on the screen today, it is our honor to be the presenting sponsor, and it is our pleasure to welcome you all, and on behalf of Arvest as the presenting sponsor, to the first Power Up Little Rock of 2023 that will focus on the importance of corporate wellness programs. We're here to hear from our four experts today who will drive home the importance and value of not just taking care of ourselves physically, but mentally, and at all levels of the organization, from senior leadership to entry-level staff. I encourage those of us in leadership roles to set the tone for a healthy and happy 2023, and to watch for signs of burnout within our organizations, and to remember that health and wellness programs can provide the following. It lessens workplace stress, increases our productivity, improve employee retention, and also important, lowering healthcare costs. Sarah, Eric, Whitney, and Stephanie, thank you for serving as panelists today and providing your insight into corporate wellness. I know we are all ready to get started, so I will turn the meeting over to our moderator today, Jay Cheshire, Little Rock Regional President and CEO.
Thank you, Ron. Is this on? Can you hear me? Perfect. So before you people embarrass me over the lack of corporate wellness, we raised our hands about who believed in a resolution. So now I need a show of hands of who has kept it so far. Look at that. So this is a needy group of people. And I'm going to say I'm right there with you. I am still struggling. I need to lose weight. I'm in a dry January moment. I'm still trying to keep you people on me to stay dry January until the end of the month. I went to a dinner last night and the night before. I did not go damp. So I'm going to be dependent upon all of you to keep me straight between now and the end of the month. So first of all, welcome to our very first Power Up event of the year. We're excited that you're here. We appreciate Arvest, Delta Dental, and all of our friends for helping us do these types of programs. We have 4 extremely talented local leaders who are making a major impact not only in their organizations but also across this community with the work they're doing. So we're going to explore several important topics, as Ron said, in this arena today. And then also, as he also said, please be thinking about questions as you listen to these folks talk, and at the end of the program we'll be able to try and answer some of those questions. So before we get started, I want to give you just a quick background on our panelists. First of all, we have Whitney Gorsegner, who is Garver's Wellness Program Manager, where she is responsible for providing wellness solutions to over 1,000 employees in 43 different offices. Now think about that. One person responsible for all of that. She has helped Garver maintain an award-winning wellness program culture, as well as being named a Platinum Well Workplace, and has been chosen by Healthiest Employers as a top 100 healthiest workplace in America. Let's give Whitney a big round of applause. Wave, wave. There we go. Secondly, we have Stephanie Jones with Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield. She is a well-being clinician and an RD responsible for helping develop, administer, and manage employee wellness programs for Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield. She has worked for the last 7 years diligently, introducing new programs, contests, and events. You always have to keep it fresh, and events to the employees to improve their health. Let's give her a big round of applause, please. And to balance out the ugliness on the panel, we have, I'm the other side, Eric. I just want you to know that. We have Eric Siebenmorgen, who is the Health and Wellness Manager at the Arkansas Heart Hospital, 2-time heart surgery, so we'll talk about that in a minute. He's responsible for improving the health and well-being of employees through multiple avenues, offering everything from nutrition consults, monthly fitness challenges, hiking and walking clubs, and much more. He is responsible for employee engagement, participation, and recruitment. Let's give Eric a big round of applause. And Sarah Palmiero is an expert in creating impactful employee experience through various culture and wellness initiatives. At JTS Financial, she puts to good use her extensive background in nutrition, dietetics, exercise science, comprehensive wealth, and wellness consulting, as well as wellness program facilitation. Let's give Sarah a big round of applause. So once again, thanks to each and every one of you for joining us today. This is a topic that 5 or 10 years ago people didn't talk much about. And yet, because of the importance not only, and we'll talk a little bit about the mental side of that later in the program, but the physical side of it, it's important for companies to most importantly take care of their employees, but secondly, do everything they can to make sure that they're doing what they can to help each employee maintain a well and balanced life, I guess is a good way of putting it. So we're going to focus today's discussion on the importance of the understanding of what that looks like, number one, and then number two, how it can be useful not only for larger corporations but also smaller businesses with minimal employees. You know, we talk about that a lot, but 80% of the members of the Chamber of Commerce have 20 or less employees. So when we start talking about business and business impact, we also have to look at how we can help those smaller folks as well. So let's get started. We've heard a little bit about each of your roles at your respective organizations, but I want to give you each an opportunity
to give a broader sense of the organizational structure and how your wellness programs work on a daily basis. And so, Sarah, you drew the short stick. Let's start with you.
That's okay. I'm fine to go first. Thank you for having us here today. This is really a great opportunity for us, so we're all really happy to be here and speak to you guys. So I am with JTS Financial, and we are an insurance broker here in Central Arkansas, primarily. And I say insurance broker, but we really do so many things beyond that. We do traditional property and casualty and benefits, but we offer different things with HR solutions. We do different payroll processing. We do ACA reporting. We do all kinds of things like benefits administration technology, wellness. So we're doing a lot of different things that are really helping the HR and benefits teams of our clients. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. And where I come in is I am our wellness administrator, benefits administrator for our company, for our employees. And then I offer wellness expertise to our groups. So that's going to be like our clients. And we use our carrier products typically. And what that means is we use like Blue Cross Blue Shield or Cigna or UHC. I know you guys who are on the benefits team have heard of some of those names because, you know, thinking about the employee size of most of us and just how we want to make sure everything is cost effective, wellness programming can typically be something that maybe is not the first priority because it comes at a cost. And so that's why I use carrier products to help it be very cost effective for the company and just be something that they can have built into their benefits. And I do their facilitation of the programs. I work with the human resources team to basically take that off their plate. And then I'll also offer compliance expertise for wellness because it's very complicated, if any of y'all know. And you can get into trouble if you're not careful, especially when you look at discrimination and offering incentives. So that's really where my background is able to be helpful for employers that maybe don't have those resources in-house.
So, quick question in that regard. Obviously, with the larger groups, it's kind of incumbent within the program itself. So, for someone that you're working with as a client, beyond just the large group opportunities, anything that you would just kind of throw out as ways that someone with 5 or 6 employees can begin to think about incorporating this into a daily regimen of what they're doing to help their employees remain healthy?
You know, that's a great question. And I think wellness, we typically will think about like physical activity and nutrition and let's eat well, and I think wellness has really kind of evolved into an overall cultural employee experience. So when you look at it that way, you can, taking walks or hiking like you do, Eric, are things that you can do as a group really to build community and to build that caring kind of culture that you need before you really establish any kind of wellness program, because you're typically going to ask your employees to do things for you, tie it to the health plan.
That's a really good point. I've got our youngest son is just starting a new position up in Northwest Arkansas, and one of the things that they do that I'd never thought about, hope our folks are listening, is that they literally walk and talk around that area of that neighborhood. And so that's just something we don't think about that actually incorporates into what we're trying to do. Stephanie, how has Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield been creative in finding innovative ways to, first of all, stay involved in this arena, but to then get more involved from the community aspect so others can be a part of that as well?
That's a great question. I'm so loud. So we're really involved in the community. I think all of you guys probably have seen our logos everywhere, and we have a new branding campaign that just launched as well. But for our internal employees, we are really focused on the holistic person, the whole person. So we're not really, it used to be all physical based, right? Nutrition, physical activity. We still focus on those things, but mental health has become such a huge important part of just our daily lives, and COVID really brought that to light, right? How many issues people had, and then the isolation and all that. So we really kind of work on the holistic person. In terms of the community, we sponsor a lot of different races, whether it be locally. We always sponsor the Little Rock Marathon, but we also sponsor the Jingle Bell Run and like NAMI walks and all that. And that's throughout the whole state, not just within Central Arkansas. We also are starting It actually starts in March, but the Blue and You Fitness Challenge, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, maybe you guys are signed up, hopefully. But this year is our 20th year of the challenge, and we partner with the Arkansas Department of Health and the Arkansas Department of Human Services to sponsor that contest. And it really focuses on physical activity, but has also shifted more towards whole person health as well. And then, of course, our Blue and You Foundation, which sponsors community health and wellness initiatives throughout the state, playgrounds, recovery centers, so many different things. There's a lot more, but I'll just leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Whitney, first of all, we're going to want your autograph after this because we know you make regular appearances on Good Day Arkansas and other media. So we're going to, would you sign my book before?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So you're always doing that, which is really cool because you're talking about corporate wellness within Central Arkansas. Why is Garver so engaged in this, and even so much so at the community level?
Well, we've had over 100 years of perfecting fun, and we like to have fun, and being on the news is fun. So, but we have a really amazing corporate giving program, Garver Gives, and Emily over there runs it. Giving back to our community is part of our culture. And so if we're going to give back to our community volunteering, we might as well give back to our community and make them well, too. So not only is part of my job making Garver Wellness and our employees happy, healthy, engaged, keeping them retained, recruiting new employees, keeping them healthy, but being on the news also allows us to share that with the local community. And what better way than to do that on the news?
You know, what's really cool, your former CEO, Brock, years and years and years ago, called me into your old offices on the south side of 630 and started telling me about the plan to build the new facility over in North Shore so that you would literally be on the bike trail. Now, how many people think about building a headquarters facility so that it's located on a bike trail so that your employees, your teammates can be a part of that culture even when you're coming to and from work and you're not in a car? So I just think that's one of the coolest stories of corporate wellness that's been going on for quite some time. Congratulations on the work that you're doing. And so, last but not least on this question from the Arkansas Heart Hospital perspectives, give us an idea of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, guys, thanks again for having me out here. Like mentioned, my name is Eric Siebenmorgen. I'm the Health and Wellness Manager at the Arkansas Heart Hospital. So I serve about 1,400 employees. That is based over 2 hospitals and 25 clinics across the state of Arkansas. So we have a lot of things going on at the Arkansas Heart Hospital. So plain and simply put, my job is to make people healthy. So I'm a registered dietitian and an exercise physiologist. So we just do our best to just spread employee wellness as much as what we possibly can. And the reason why employee wellness is so important and why we want to make it so impactful is because we cannot give the best care to our patients unless our employees are healthy first. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but honestly though, it's been proven that employees that are more healthy, both in physical and mental aspects, they are more productive, they are more focused, they give a better product. So our product is the citizens of Arkansas. So we want our product to be as impactful and as important as we possibly can. So making the employees at the Arkansas Heart Hospital is making them healthy is my job. So, don't simply put, yeah, employee wellness.
To that point, Eric, from the perspective of, we've talked a lot about the physical aspect of this. Let's talk about, for a second, the mental side, because that's maybe even more important at the moment, given what we've all been through in the last 3 years. Tell us some of the things that you guys are doing at the Heart Hospital to address the mental side of being healthy.
Yeah, for sure. So, great question. So, everybody obviously went through COVID. And if there's any sector that really got hit during COVID, it was the healthcare sector. Healthcare took a big hit. Burnout was at an all-time high. Stress in the workforce was at an all-time high. So we've made great strides to help push mental health awareness and then to offer ways to decrease that stress and everything else in the workforce. So I work very closely with the pastor of the Heart Hospital. He's a great, great man. And so we have pushed a lot of mental health out there. So what we do is he offers a daily prayer. So he'll come on the intercom every single day and he'll give a 30-second to a minute prayer every single day. He offers weekly devotionals to where he'll talk about different different topics throughout the hospital. So I think last week's was how to handle stress in the workforce. He offers weekly counseling sessions to where you can book a time with him to go and discuss anything work or life related. We have an employee wellness lounge. Those of you who do not have an employee wellness lounge, I highly consider looking into that. So that is just a place where we have in the hospital to where employees can just go and just get away from work. So in that room, I load up snack bins. We have refrigerators in there. We have lounge chairs like this. They can go have their lunch in. We have a ping pong table in there, a pinball machine. We have a waterbed massager, a chair massager, and it's just a great place just to go for the employees just to get away from work. So, and things we've done in the past too. We have hired a third-party massage company to come on in and to give 10 to 15-minute chair massages to our employees. And we have also had a service dog come on in with its owner. And how many of you have been upset after you pet a service dog? None. Okay? So those are some of the things that we're doing now and things that we've done in the past to help spread mental health awareness and just to help alleviate some of that stress.
That's great. Sarah, I know from the perspective of the work that you're doing, you also had some thoughts in that regard. Talk to us about the mental side of it for a second.
The mental side of wellness, I think, really is the biggest component, like Eric is saying. I think, thinking about we all have been through COVID, and it all brought to light a lot of the challenges that we're all facing and really exacerbated those challenges. And I think, honestly, as an employer, it's one of the easiest ways in getting like an employee assistance program or utilizing your benefits, mental health, behavioral health resources are very, very inexpensive, but it's one of the biggest ways to show you care because it shows that, if your mental health is not in check, if you're not taking care of yourself and your stress management, and if you're not taking care of your family's stress and their stress management, you're not going to be doing a fantastic job in the workplace. So it's just a great way to show that you care about your people. And I just really want to give a shout out to Sweep Connections. I don't know if anyone here has heard of them, formerly Southwest EAP. So maybe some of y'all have heard of them. So they've rebranded, and they're a local EAP provider, and they just do fantastic work here. They're all located here, so they're familiar with our state. They're familiar with the trials and things that we have to deal with, and they're fantastic, and they offer things beyond the free EAP service, like leadership training, managerial training for these types of soft skills that are really becoming important and becoming have been brought to light that these are things employers need to be doing for their people. Besides just the typical technical skills. So just wanted to give a shout out to them. And we're actually looking to develop a program with them for individuals, because what we're finding is that a lot of individuals who have their own health plans that are not employed or not going through their employer actually don't have mental health coverage. And so that's a pretty at-risk population for not being able to get that kind of counseling that they need. So we're starting to work with Sweep to develop those types of programs.
That brings an out of and left field question, so please forgive me on this. But do you guys have any good recommendations about how to spot people in the workplace that in a very meaningful, low-key way you can maybe usher them to a little bit of help? Any thoughts on that? Go ahead.
So I'm in a really unique position where I get the opportunity to travel around to all of our offices, 43 of them, and visit and have one-on-one time with every single employee. So I get to ask them, hey, how are you doing? And just that simple question alone, after 5 years of working with Garver and building that trust, they've opened up, and then we've been able to talk about their struggles. I've also been vulnerable about my own mental health, and I think making myself look like a human allows people to feel like they can trust you. So we've enhanced our mental health support. I wouldn't work for an engineer company if I didn't give you some statistics right now. From 20
Should we get our abacus out?
Yes, absolutely, or a calculator, or really an Excel file. From 2020 to 2021, our mental health claims went up 60%, 60. And then from 2021 to 2022, they went up another 11%. And while some people might think that that's a negative thing, we see it as a huge positive, that because we've created a culture where mental health is safe to talk about, our people go get the help, and they ask for help too. So very proud of our culture right now in that stat.
You know, that's really interesting. The old adage of an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure comes to mind. And from the perspective of Blue Cross, how do you guys counsel your clients in that regard to spot the warning signs and then try to find ways to address those?
So I think the most important thing, and this goes across the board in terms of health and wellness programs, is leadership support. Having leaders discuss mental health, the importance of it, behavioral health, and all the resources is really impactful for employees. Leaders have a huge influence over employees, so please think about that when you go back to your workplaces. If you guys walk the walk and talk the talk, employees tend to do the same thing. So your influence is so powerful. But that also goes into, workforce stress and all that. So, it's estimated that 82% of workers in the US face some sort of workforce stress. And what is that caused by? The workplace. So we really need to evaluate how healthy our workplaces is in terms of like work-life balance, expectations, all these other things that may impact. In terms of recognizing mental health issues and things like that, I recommend, there's a lot of agencies that do mental health first aid training that you can actually participate in and know how to recognize and how to help somebody in crisis. So I'm really excited about this program. We're actually working on it with our directors within the organization. We're working with the University of Arkansas Cooperative Extension Agency, and they're going to be providing this service for our directors and me as well, because I was like, I talk to the employees, I need to do this. But there are specific trainings that you guys can do to be able to recognize and also help that person, as opposed to being like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't know what to do, but this person needs help. So I would definitely recommend some sort of training like that to be able to recognize as well as respond to someone who is in an active crisis.
I'm not going to belabor the point, but we all go home in the evenings and we see on the evening news examples of this every single day. And we don't often talk about that, or we don't talk about it as much as we should. And I think it's really cool, number one, that as a provider, you're promoting that. You're promoting the prevention side, obviously. And we talk about the wellness benefits to the individual, but there's some wellness benefits to the corporate bottom line as well. Sarah, talk to us about what that might look like from the perspective of a really robust wellness program being implemented within their organization.
Sure. The bottom line, that is really the golden question, because that's what everybody always wants to know, is what is the ROI on wellness? We've talked about this numerous times. So that's a really great question, and I think it's really very complicated, if you want the very short answer. When you think about wellness and ROI, and you think about wanting your people to be healthy, and you want to make your employees healthy, and you want to look at cost containment for your health plan, there are so many different factors that go into the health plan. But say we're wanting to look at preventive care, and you want to increase your preventive care. Well, that's going to make your costs go up if you start requiring people to get preventive care. They're going to start going to the doctor. That's going to shoot your cost up first. But then eventually, looking maybe 5-10 years down the road, you're going to see the effects of all that preventive care from these people who are not experiencing chronic disease, are able to kind of reverse those effects or manage those chronic diseases. So it just takes quite a bit of time. So when you're looking at ROI for wellness and you're really thinking about it and it's something you really want to make a part of your strategy, you're looking at a long-term plan. I think what, this is something this question is a very big passion of mine, because you really can look at the value of investment, the VOI, if you will, and you can really make some very tangible efforts there that are things you can see very quickly, and not really related to the health plan necessarily, but you can look at things like productivity and your recruitment and retention. I mean, corporate wellness is like the number one thing that people look at whenever they are looking for a new job these days. How are you taking care of my health? How are you supporting me with my mental health? So that's a big recruitment tool. It's a big thing you can look at for workers' compensation. You can look at it for absenteeism, presenteeism. So there are lots of different things you can look at beyond just that traditional health plan cost.
And sometimes that's hard to quantify on an
is.
annual basis, but you see the benefits of it long term
do.
because of what your opportunity cost necessarily might be, of what those increased costs would be if you don't address it on the front end.
Well, and I think one thing I just was thinking about is that we actually have some carriers that we can implement products with, or certain requirements. Like we can say we want all of, 40% of our employees need to complete preventive care this year, and some insurance carriers will actually offer a reduction in premium for those types of things. So that is a true cost you can see right away, or within the next year.
So Eric, I'm curious, with both of your locations and did you say 63 clinics?
It feels like that. No, 25 though.
Oh.
25.
I was born in 63, maybe that was I'm getting senile, Eric. So from the perspective of that footprint, how do you guys look at this aspect of your bottom line? And do you try to quantify that in terms of what it's going to drop at the end of the year to the profitability of the organization? Or do you look at it and try to measure it in different ways?
Kind of piggybacking on what they said about that VOI is really that value. How can we bring value into our organization? And really that is what I was brought on to do, is just try to bring on as much value as I could to the heart hospital. And so it started with our leadership. Our leadership is so good about just leading from the front. Like I put on a 5K this past year, and I had the COO and the VP out there running it with me. At the hiking club, I had the CEO and the founder of the heart hospital out there doing a hike with me at 6:30 in the morning. I'm on a basketball team in Conway. I got the CFO as my center. So the leadership at the heart hospital is 100% in on this culture that we're trying to create. So it's not so much as an ROI for us, but it is how can we give value to every single one of those employees, and how can we show that we truly do care. And AHH, they do such a good job at showing that these are more than just employees, but this is like part of our family. And I tell every single one of my new orientation groups that the heart hospital is like the Chick-fil-A of hospitals. It's just different. And so it starts with our leadership. And so on our scale, it's more about the BOI as opposed to the ROI.
That's really an interesting way of reframing how we look at that, more from a culture aspect as opposed to a return on investment aspect. That's really interesting. Whitney, so obviously Garver is well known, I'm going to say renowned, for the work that you guys are doing in this arena, from the corporate investment in this type of activity within your multiple offices across the country. Tell us about what that investment looks like, and how do you have those conversations with your management about what next to invest in for the corporate wellness of the organization?
Well, our leadership team is phenomenal, and they also walk the talk. We are running a 5K during our annual summit, which is when we all come together to celebrate Garver's successes. We've put on a 5K, or really a fun run, because again, they're engineers, so if it's not 3.1 miles, they're going to be very upset. But we have our CFO, our CEO, COO, and then our business line leaders, directors, all out there celebrating connectedness. That's our favorite, but that's my favorite buzzword. But that's a buzzword around Garver, is connectedness and creating a culture. And so, because we've earned that trust with Garver Wellness within leadership, they sit on a health planning committee with me and our benefits team, and we talk about what's next. We look at our claims, our insurance claims, to see where we can improve next year. And again, we're constantly looking at data and stats to create goals, so it becomes part of the strategic plan. Garver has their own business line strategic plan, and then I copied it and made a strategic plan for wellness that then fits along with our core values and our beliefs and our guiding principles.
So I think that's why I wanted to ask you that question based upon the work that you guys are doing. I don't think there are near enough organizations, companies like yours today that literally get that granular as to the not what's now, but what's next. And so, Stephanie, from the perspective of what you're seeing across the footprint of not only the company, but obviously those that you guys are serving and trying to create ideas and recommendations for, how do you see it play out as you're making not only the strides within Blue Cross, but how you're then trying to take that and ramp it into these specific companies that are your clients?
It's a really loaded question. So we work a lot. I have a colleague, her name is Rosa, she's amazing. She works with a lot of our external groups to promote our wellness programs and what offerings we have. It does depend on what type of company you are, if you're fully insured or some other type of company, depending on, just what you have. So we're really working to promote those types of benefits that are already existing, kind of like what Sarah mentioned before. So we're working, that's been a newer initiative. It's probably within the last year. And we're also promoting those within our employee base as well. Our employee wellness program has shifted completely over the last couple years. It used to be outcomes-based, and now it's participation-based. So really huge shift. And we're really looking more at the engagement as opposed to seeing, of course we look at data, but we're really looking at engagement. So that's been a big shift for us. But because of that, some of our employees have forgotten what benefits they've always had. And so we're really working to promote our case management services, our EAP that we have. It could be special delivery for expecting moms. We have a whole slew of programs. So we promote and offer those to the employees as well as our external groups. So my colleague and I work really closely together to kind of promote to our external groups to see how we can help them as well.
So it's obviously a different day today in regard to talent recruitment, talent retention, much less the attraction side. Eric, I'm going to start on your end and come all the way back because I want each of you to answer this question. In what you're doing, do you see it as a differentiator in people choosing to come to work at your organization versus the other alternatives that they may have? And if so, a little color around that. Eric?
Absolutely. I think one of y'all mentioned before that now, that's what employees are looking for. Employees are looking for, what can this company give me? It's not so much anymore just who's going to pay me the most money, but what are the best benefits there? How can they serve me? And so definitely, we see that as a recruitment tool all the time. New employees or potential employees, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, you need to come check out our employee gym. You need to come check out the free personal training that we offer, the free meal planning that we offer, all the activities that we do, all the different benefits that are set up for those employees. Absolutely. That is definitely a game changer whenever it comes to trying to recruit talent, good talent. Talent that's going to stay there for the long run after they hear about everything that we can offer to those employees.
That's actually part of our mission within wellness, is to retain and recruit new employees based on the wellness offerings that we have and the benefits that we offer. So that's something that we are really passionate about. So we do use that in terms of recruitment. And like Sarah mentioned, employees are looking for that now. We've had, the Great Recession. So many people have changed jobs over the last couple years. And that's something that's really valuable, especially to the younger generation of employees. They want to feel valued and feel like they're a real part of a family. And depending on where you work, you can actually get that. So I think that's incredibly valuable, and not just with wellness benefits, but overall benefits that companies offer. If it's 401k, health savings accounts, retirement planning, helping with debt and stuff like that. There's a slew of, a whole multitude of benefits that we can provide that'll be beneficial and help retain and recruit new employees.
I said it in the beginning, Garver has perfected having fun. and I stand by it.
Do you have any available positions?
Yeah, well, you come.
I'll
I
be-
think we could probably work something out. I got leadership over here, so. But you know, we show our employees that they can have fun and live a healthy lifestyle. They can work hard and play hard, right? And we're going to take care of them. And so you get creative with how you recruit and you retain your employees. Our recruitment team knows the wellness elevator speech better than I do. And then we're not just giving it to you. We stand by what we tell you as well. So Garver is giving health reimbursements that aren't just gym reimbursements, but they're opening up the door to getting nutrition reimbursement or fitness tracking reimbursement, because health looks different for everyone. And again, we keep it fun, but on the back end, that I care about the fun, but on the back end, I'm also making sure that those healthcare claims costs are low for Garver and our employees.
So thinking about recruitment and retention, and so this is interesting. I don't think I said this in the beginning, but JTS has been around for about 15, 20 years at this point, JTS Financial. And, you know, we're a smaller brokerage. We have 150 employees, and we are here in Little Rock primarily, but we are branching out into all of our surrounding states. And so I think, you know, I'm a newer employee with JTS. I've been there about a year and a half, and what I really found at JTS is that they want to be different than any other insurance brokerage around here. And I don't know if any of you guys know this, but people in the insurance industry will hop around, broker hop around if that's kind of your job, just because there are several different brokers around here. And what really drew me to JTS is the small community feel that we have. I mean, our owner and, well, both of our owners, they sit, you know, in our building. They're available day to day. We offer a very flexible workplace, and I think we're in the unique position that we can, because we all pretty much work at a computer. But we have a very flexible hybrid workplace. Some of our people work from home all the time. Some of us come in. Some people like me do both, depending on what I need to do. So we're very flexible. We have fantastic benefits, of course, as we should, as a brokerage. And we really focus on mental health and mental health support. And I think we, you know, being as young as we are really working to come out of COVID and really promote this culture that we've established. And so this past year, we did our very first town hall. So we're really we are not to still connectedness, but we are really focused on being connected as well with our people and doing more face-to-face things just to bring us all together.
You know, it's interesting now more than ever, and you all mentioned this. We talk about it in our meetings at the chamber. People want to, first of all, feel like they're making a difference. And it's not always about them. It's about making a difference for others. And so this is a great example, this entire topic, of how each of you and we can play a role in helping them feel valued, number one, but number two, also, as I say often to our folks, you know, there's precious few places in this world you can work where every night when you go home and put your head on your pillow, you can smile knowing that what you did that day benefited someone, and in many cases a whole lot of someone's, who will never know who you are. And if that's what feeds your soul, if that's what helps with that mental well-being along with the physical well-being, then I think that's what people are looking for today, more so from a talent perspective, in terms of where they want to live life while at work, because we spend more time there than we do away from there. So we're running close to out of time. First of all, before I finish with one question, any questions from our audience members? Please raise your hand. We'll bring you a microphone, or you can just stand up and shout, whichever you choose. Stacy. What's the first baby step?
I'll go first? Okay. So most companies don't really hire a wellness person unless they have usually about 1,000 employees or so, and most of businesses are small businesses. So it's really important to find what specific things you can offer to your employees. The first thing I'd recommend is to review your existing benefits. What do you already have that you can promote to the employees? Maybe it's preventative exams. Maybe it's age-appropriate preventative exams. It could be EAP and what different offerings they have. So take a look at what you already offer in terms of benefits. That's probably the easiest thing. You already have them, easy to review. You can also participate in challenges. So like I mentioned before, the Blue and You Fitness Challenge, that's a free annual challenge that we offer. So take a look at that. If you have any questions about it, you can let me know. But the American Public Health Association also has a Keep It Moving challenge that lasts, I think it's from like January 1st to April, like the end of April or something. So there's a lot of free challenges and kind of contests that you can promote. But those are the two main things I would promote. And then also, Sarah and I have talked about this many times. Work with any community organizations that have content. Maybe it's University of Arkansas Cooperative Extension. Their website is great. You can pull in the county you're in, see who your agents are, talk to them, see what they have that's free. Some are low cost that you might offer, some are free. So definitely take a look at that. Also, whatever partners you use, maybe it's telco, maybe it's drug companies, whoever it is, they sometimes have free content that they want to be able to promote to your employees. So I would reach out to like the community organizations. The Heart Hospital probably will help you, but also the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Society. There's a lot of free resources out there that we just don't know about. So take a look and see what's available in the community and use those.
Good question. Any other questions from our friends in the audience? Don't be so shy. Well, let me end with this question then. So many or several years ago, I don't know who named us this, but we were named one of the happiest cities in America. I never really knew what the criteria was, and maybe that was before my dry January days. But in reality, that's what this is all about. It's about community health and community happiness. So you're talking to a whole group of business folks. How can we, in the business community, help take this and elevate it so that it becomes a way of life as opposed to somebody else's really cool program? Thoughts?
Yeah, okay, I'll take this one. So kind of what you were talking about, how the majority of someone's day is spent while they're at work. So whether that be getting ready for work, they're commuting to work, they're at work physically, or even if they're at home just thinking about work, the majority of someone's day, week, month, year is going to be spent at work. So in my regard, if I want to make my employees healthy, then of course I'm going to give them opportunities to get healthy while at work. So that is just why we push it so hard, just to make them happy, because that just goes into every single thing that we've been talking about today. Retention, less burnout, less stress. So we just really try to target that time while they are at work, even if that means taking a 15-minute break from work and the computer to go take a walk around the building. That's what we're going to do, because that is meaning that they're going to be a little bit happier maybe whenever they go home, and they're going to have less burnout, less stress, everything else. So
something that the pandemic has taught us, of course, is work-life balance. What's that? If you work remote, does it exist? So we talk a lot about, leaders setting the tone. Are they sending emails off hours? What are they doing? And that, not to point anyone out.
See, I knew I was going to do it.
But thinking about, like I mentioned before, leaders are so hugely influential to your employee base. If you are walking the walk, talking the talk, that's going to trickle down. Employees notice. Even if you think, I had an off day, it's not a big deal, they notice. So please just kind of take a look inward at yourself, but also whoever reports to you. Are they setting a good example? That is something that is hugely important and undervalued. So making sure that you're not sending emails at crazy hours at 2 a.m. or something like that. Not responding, making sure that if you're on vacation, you are on vacation. Don't look at that email notification. Does anyone have their email notifications turned off on their cell phone like me? Anyone? Okay, yeah, we got one other person, yay. But that is, we need to turn off. Of course we have to work, but hopefully work can be a positive environment too, but being able to disconnect, I think, is something that has come to the light more recently than before.
Yeah, being happy is part of the quality of life that we all deserve. So, again, if to everyone's point up here today, if you're going to spend the majority of your time at work with those people, create a culture of health and well-being, will only make your employees happier, which will keep them there, and then hopefully bring more money. Who doesn't like more money? I like money. But also save your healthcare claims costs, again, saving you money and your employees. It's a circle. We like holistic wellness up here. Mental health, social health, occupational health, physical, all the things, but the back end of wellness is also a circle too. It all comes together.
So, is this being recorded? Will it self-destruct? Since I'm the antithesis of everything they just talked about. First of all, thank you. It is an amazingly important topic, because you're looking at a guy who's had 2 open heart surgeries. And that's probably a good reason why I should internalize what we're talking about, and obviously make sure that our team does as well, because that's what it's about. It's about our health. And as much as we think we are the end-all be-all, we're not. And it's about not only ourselves, but our families and those around us, our work families as well as those at home. And so, first of all, let's give Sarah, Eric, Whitney, and Stephanie a big round of applause. And so, obviously, from our Power Up series, we're looking at having these types of community conversations where, in my own instance, I can look in the mirror and say, you're the problem. And so, as we're talking about these items and these issues, if there's something that you think we ought to address or dig deeper into, please reach out. Stacy, raise your hand. Please reach out to Stacy or anybody on the team that is doing this work, because that's what this is all about. It's about people helping each other, and we don't have all the good answers or the good ideas, and so we need your help with that. So as we move forward, please reach out to us and let us know what you would like to hear and see. I want to say a very special thank you to, I didn't see Kristen, but a round of applause for Kristen Merlot and her team at Delta Dental for being a sponsor today. Let's give them a big round of applause. And obviously, the better looking and funnier Ron Witherspoon and Arvest. Let's give them a big round of applause. Stay tuned. Our next Power Up event actually is going to be on March the 27th. It's going to be about the state of entrepreneurship in Little Rock and Central Arkansas. Arthur Orduna, the brand new executive director of the Venture Center, will be our featured speaker there. There's going to be a whole host of cool things happening in that regard. We also have our Small Business Impact Awards coming up in May. Nominations are currently open. Stacy made the announcement this morning at our board meeting. Last year we had a little over 300 applications for those Small Business Impact Awards. We're already over 300, and we just started nominations. So if you know of a worthy small business that needs recognition for the amazing things that they're doing, even in corporate wellness, please let us know, and we'll get you the information so that you can nominate them. So with that, thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate you and what you're doing. Let's all go make Little Rock better. Have a great day.